Marjorie Taylor Greene gave a controversial interview on far-right commentator Alex Jones' Infowars show. She blasts Mike Johnson and the Republicans for allowing $61 billion in funding for Ukraine. A second provides $26 billion for Israel and humanitarian aid, and a third mandates $8.12 billion to push back China in the Indo-Pacific.
Speech on Friday. No, I'm sorry, on Saturday. Losing my days. On Saturday, just before the vote, and I laid out why I am against funding Ukraine. And I haven't ever voted to fund any of it. This is a war that shouldn't be happening. And in my speech, I said, why isn't anyone demanding peace? Peace should be the only conversation that we're having when it involves any of these foreign conflicts and foreign wars. That should be America's role, is peace. But the problem that I laid out is it's a business model. America's government, our federal government's business model, is built on murder. It is built on the blood and the death and the wars of foreign countries and foreign peoples. And what you and I are talking about is this is how they do it. Exactly that vote that went down on Saturday that funded $61 billion to Ukraine, $26 billion to Israel. Remember, $9 billion of that goes to Hamas. And then the rest of it going to Taiwan, saying that they're preventing China from escalating and taking Taiwan. All of this money is actually meant to build up our military-industrial complex. And this is a sick and disgusting business model. If we're going to fund American businesses, it should be, and this is going into your conversation today, should be back to like in World War I and World War II. American businesses retooled their manufacturing to become weapons manufacturers and defense contractors. What we should be doing today, Alex, is we should be retooling these defense contractors and these defense manufacturers back to being America first businesses, building our own supplies, our own microchips, our own critical supply chain medications, and much, much more. That's what the American government business model should be. That's what I want it to be. It should not be about funding foreign wars in order to control and dictate basically the world government, because that's what the federal government has become. We're dictating and controlling, really being the globalist one world government.
She once again attacked Speaker Mike Johnson.
And this is beyond what people are thinking about. Most members in Congress, many of them that voted for it thought they were supporting Israel, but instead they're supporting Hamas at the same time. Talk about bless those who bless you and curse those who curse you. That was a curse within that blessing, but they feel obligated under a biblical mandate, as Speaker Johnson was talking about, which was absolutely unbelievable to listen to him talk about. Especially, and I think people need to know this, he funded the omnibus bill. Alex, that was his first betrayal, was about a month ago. He funded an omnibus bill that fully funded full-term abortion. Full-term abortion, that's not what Christians do. Fully funded the trans agenda on children. That's not what Christians do. He fully funded the Department of Justice that has 91 federal indictments against President Trump, and the Department of Justice that's locking up January 6th election protesters every single day. He fully funded the FBI that raided Mar-a-Lago and gave them a brand new building for $200 billion. He fully funded the Green New Deal, the climate agenda that is destroying our American energy industry and our future in reality. He fully funded Joe Biden's deadly open border invasion. He fought for nothing, negotiated for nothing. And he even in that omnibus spent more money than Nancy Pelosi did. That's when, Alex, I introduced the motion to vacate. I think it shocked many people. I think I was ahead and people didn't know all this about Mike Johnson yet. But I really do believe people are catching up, and I have seen people I'm talking to are more angry now than they ever were, maybe even in November of 2020.
Greene then expressed doubts that Trump will win the election and continued to spread the false narrative that the 2020 election was stolen.
Here's the biggest problem, Alex. Most of my Republican colleagues, everybody in Washington, D.C., all of the political consulting class, they're angry at me. They're saying, oh, we need to wait till after Trump wins the election. Oh, we're going to fix all this stuff next Congress. Alex, I'm not so sure that Trump is going to be able to win the election. This is April. I know the polling looks good, but November's a long ways away. And we already went through a stolen election that in many of these states never changed their election laws. There's also this. They are trying to lock President Trump up. They want to put him in jail for the rest of his life, and they mean it. They are not backing down. So there's no guarantee we're going to win this election. And look at Mike Johnson. He completely betrayed everyone with FISA, reauthorized FISA that spied on hundreds of thousands of Americans. And then he put his thumb on the scale himself and voted against the warrant requirement that he had just 6 months ago had been supportive of and had argued for on Judiciary Committee. But what happened on Saturday? What happened on Saturday where they were all waving the Ukrainian flag on the United States of America House of Representatives floor while they sent nearly $100 billion overseas to fund the foreign wars, fund the military-industrial complex that just is built on dead bodies all over the world. That is something so evil. It's so evil that we cannot allow it. It cannot be allowed to stand. I agree with you. I think people are believing a complete conspiracy theory, thinking, oh, we're just going to win this election. Yeah, you're right. He is not invincible. He is a man. He's fighting as hard as possible. He's putting all he has into trying to win the election.
Greene then implied that the Democrats, quote, want him dead, referring to Trump after a vote to remove his Secret Service privileges if he's convicted.
But you also got to remember, he's at the same time he's trying to run for president again, he's having to put everything he has into defending himself against these rigged trials and this unbelievable perversion of our justice system. And the Democrats aren't sorry about it. They aren't going to back off of what they are doing. They literally want him dead. Benny Thompson introduced a bill to take away his Secret Service protection. That's how serious they are. They want President Trump dead. They want to lock him up in jail for the rest of his life so that he dies in jail. And they want to take away his Secret Service protection so that he is murdered somewhere in jail, possibly. This is how serious they are. Now, remember, here's something else, Alex. They told us we were going to win in 2020. That's what all the consultants said. Oh, we're going to win in 2020. And then they told us there's going to be a big red wave in 2022. That didn't happen. We had a trickle, and the people are feeling about it. And then here you have up there in Washington, D.C., they're saying, we don't want the drama. We don't want the chaos. But yet the American people are living in drama every day. The American people are living in chaos every single day. And the American people are sick of it. There's a whole new level of rage, Alex, and it looks like this. Republican voters are going all in for Trump, but they are done with the Republican Party. They are so done with the Republican Party. As a matter of fact, I fear after President Trump, there is no future Republican Party because our leaders have been Mitch McConnell, now Mike Johnson, who is literally the ultimate uniparty Speaker of the House. Our Republican leadership in Washington has not given anything for Republican voters to vote for. And that is why keeping Speaker Johnson in his seat for the rest of this term is the most dangerous thing we can do if we care about winning the House and having control in 2025. We get absolutely nothing. And to expect that will ever change is being foolish. You know, it's gotten to the point where listening to Republicans out on the campaign trail, listening to them talk on television, people are so done. They're just like, it's lies. They don't believe them anymore because there's no accountability. Alex, there's no accountability. Yeah, you're right. Is it going to turn out perfect if I vacate Johnson? Probably not. Let's break that down. What does it look like? Right now, we have a 1-seat majority. We do. We have a 1-seat majority. We have 217 Republicans in the House. The Democrats have 213 Democrats in the House. There's 4 special elections about to happen throughout May and June, 4 of them. One of them, a Democrat is going to win. It's a Democrat seat. That'll bring in another Democrat. That brings the Democrats to 214. But 3 of these special elections are solid Republican seats, and Republicans are going to win. So that's going to bring our majority to 220. So we will have 220 Republicans. They will have 214 Democrats. And remember, we have 1 seat that will remain empty the rest of the term.
And true to form, continued to spread Russian disinformation that Ukraine is somehow responsible for making peace, despite Russia being the aggressor.
Well, let's break that down. I think it's the most dangerous thing happening. Number one, our government is lying to the American people. If they have proof that Vladimir Putin and Russia is going to just steamroll across Ukraine, take Kiev, then go straight into Poland and march across Europe, they need to be producing that evidence to the American people, because 70% of Americans are against funding that war. The only thing we should be talking about is peace and ending that war. That is exactly what should be happening. And we should be demanding that the Ukrainian people get to have elections again in their country.
Oh, yeah.
If we care about democracy, then those people deserve elections.